It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of hope, it was the winter of despair. Hello and good afternoon. My name is Jawad Raza, and I'm here to present an idea worth sharing. You know, like the tagline goes. My talk essentially is about today. It is about yesterday. It is essentially, if you go back, about the year 2020. What a great year it was. Am I right, guys? Yes. Most of you will be quirking in their boots thinking, was it really? And if the answer is no, you're not wrong. Collectively, over 100 years after a plague, we were in another plague. And this decimated the society and the fabric of social structure that we hold dear. People lost their lives, their jobs, their sanity, all in one go. And yet we are not out of it. 2020 has given way to 2021, and here we are still, shackled and locked down. Now, as a writer, I'm always kind of perplexed with what this word means. I'm lost in the semantics of this word, lockdown. Does it mean that my mind needs to be shut? Or is it me who needs to take a step back, be physically distant to pursue my creative endeavors, or to find my true inner self? And guys, this is what my inner self looks like. I call it the procrastinator. That's what all creative types are. Essentially, we like to run away from things. We like to hold pause on what's important and focus on what's not. Cleaning my apartment was not important at that time. What was important was a deadline that I had to meet. Writing a short story, trying to figure out what the characters are doing. Apparently, they were cleaning the house, and that's what I did. But it wasn't all bad. The last year, this year, the pandemic was not bad. And before you all take out your collective pitchforks and start lynching me, hear me out. This year and the previous one has given rise to a new wave of creative content. It has given rise to a new sea of creativity where every individual was able to harness their creativity in a unique manner. Artisans, poets, philosophers, writers came up with plethora of new methods to understand how it is to create content. And it did show us that in different ways. Open mics were replaced by Zoom breakout sessions. Print magazines were replaced by online publications cropping up. Yours truly was part of such a project. And besides that, magazines such as the Aleph Review, the Desi Collective, kept churning literary gold in the form of short poems, short stories, novellas. And writers, new age writers such as Awais Khan, Sara Naveed, Taiba Abbas, Afshan Shafi, kept writing amidst this chaos. What this COVID pandemic has taught us, it has given us this idea of how to be resilient, of how to be courageous in the face of adversity, and it has given us patience. And most of you, I'm guessing, are students and teachers. We all know what patience looks like. Something like this. A Zoom sessioned class, a Zoom sessioned meeting. We all know what it takes to be patient. And that's what it is. And that's what we need to understand, that maybe there is a silver lining behind this pandemic-scented cloud and the toxic air outside. If you've been in Lahore, you know what that means. Apparently, the chaos that goes inside the creative mind is something that's worth exploring. It gives us new measures to change ourselves. It gives us new ideas to come up with new form of creative writing, new form of expression, new forms of understanding ourselves as a collective. With this in mind, we do need to understand what a creative mind essentially looks like. It's a plethora, it's a chaos of whirlwinds of ideas. We don't know which idea will stick. It's like a big yarn ball, essentially, trying to pick it out one by one. Yet we don't know. And that's the beauty. We don't need to know things. We don't need answers for things. We are the answer. We are that knot that unties everything on its own. Now, this age or this answer that I've just said, that we are the answer, it is also heightened by the social mediums. Today, presently, we have been given multiple facets of expression through Instagram, through Snapchat, through Facebook, through TikTok. Yes, TikTok. Most of us are able to express ourselves in the most candid way possible. We are all storytellers. I mean, in the COVID-stricken world, we have essentially made so many stories around a simple fact, which is to make a story around the fact that you're not feeling well so you can work from home. So that's a good start, if any. And with that in mind, this pandemic-stricken world and this connection with the social medium has given credence to a rather dangerous virus. And that virus, at least what I would like to call it, is the influencer virus, where the content is so much and so fast-paced and so intense that things kind of get lost in what is right or wrong or good or bad. And I'm not here to lecture on what is good writing or good expression or what is bad writing and bad expression. So I will leave this to all of you guys. What, according to you, is bad writing? Think about it. This puts me to my next and final point, which is that due to this new age or fast-pacedness of it all, we have come up with a new genre. A genre titled after a comic book character, Flash, known as flash fiction. Now, what is flash fiction? Flash fiction embodies what we as a collective have. We want instantaneous things. We want things at a snap of a finger, hence Snapchat. We want things as quickly as possible because we don't have the time, and plus COVID has told us that life is short and it's unpredictable. So we don't have the time to read a novel like War and Peace anymore. We don't have the time to write a novel like War and Peace anymore. So flash fiction is an evolution. It's the result of COVID. It is the result of human resilience. It's the result of human beings wanting to go on. That yes, the Victorian era writer can write a detailed novel on War and Peace, but today, in this short amount of time, we need something new. And that's what humanity does. It creates. It strives forward. And that's what flash fiction is. It is basically shorter stories connected with a larger philosophical thought. And that's what the need of the hour is. Because eventually, ladies and gentlemen, writers, poets, philosophers are our true saviors in a socially disconnected world. And in that vein, I, the writer, the poet, would like to share something with you guys today, or share the process of the journey that it took me to be here. Because one thing that does affect a lot of us collectively in this locked down phase is the capacity to deal with mental health issues. And a lot of creatives and writers fall under that trap. I myself, someone who's diagnosed with something, is a living, breathing proof of that. That how mental health can be essentially a problem, yet the lockdown helped me. At least the first one did. The second one put me into therapy. So even that can be a very tricky thing. But having said that, being able to write, being able to cathart was my guiding light. And it is for most of us. Catharsis comes from self-expression. It comes from the idea that we connect with ourselves in order to truly understand who we are. And with that, I give you a short piece of writing that I wrote myself, and with that, I will end my session. So the poem is called Sleep, because most of us can't get enough of it, so I thought might as well write it in a poem. Sleep. How am I to sleep at the dead of night, as the waves of sound crash at the perturbed reaches, distinguished by a few years of hindsight? Am I to sleep soundly beneath an olive branch, dwindling in the mist of a storm, brewed inside my blotched mind? Sleep, sleep, the mind numbs to wish the sleep that comes, but when it comes, it's too late. I pray, yes, I pray. I fall prey to the shadows in the vacant spaces left behind. They smile upon my face. Am I to sleep? How can I? No, I shan't or can't, but I lie. Sleep is all but an illusion of the mind. I am dead, so is you. You, the wretched swine. I find anger in the midst of that is chaos, a slur of cognitive dissonance left behind. Where do I find myself now? Like I ask you, where? Where should I go to fall asleep? Where should I go? I have to lose myself in the far reaches, in between the marshes and the dead seas, in between vacant beaches. I have to find myself before I lose. Maybe I have lost. Maybe I never won. Maybe I never was. Maybe I am never. You ask, while that big smile glistens from that slivery, starry-eyed you ask? Well, frick on a stick and screw you. You, the bane of my existence, you, the plague that plagues, you, the Pied Piper that played that sleepy tune, you ask why? Well, here's to your why. I am but a faint speck of inconsequential dew, set upon the early morning grass, withering under the shimmering sky as I lie awake, asking myself, how am I to sleep at the dead of night? Thank you so much.